Welcome back to Where Are All My Friends? This episode is with Sho Mitsui, who is a friend of mine who I met years ago on a tour in Japan, and he has had a really interesting life and career. He himself was in a band called Alternative Medicine. He's very close friends with a dear friend of mine, Ryan Scott Graham, who was also on the podcast from State Champs. And he has this life where he did play in bands, but he also has worked as a Japanese to English translator for a lot of streetwear brands and other companies. And then in addition to that, he also has his own project now called Plastic Labs, where he's doing a lot of really cool custom one-off vehicles and plastic figures for streetwear brands and other brands alike. So overall, he just has this really cool story. He's this incredibly kind, excited dude, and for all those reasons, it was an honor to have him on. Let's get into it. Where are all my friends? Sho Mitsui.
What's up, Andrew?
What's up, dude?
It's been quite a while, man.
Several years.
Right, for sure.
Yeah,
I was going through the photo folder of my iPhone the other day and I found you and me at a salad place.
Yeah. Where what? You know what's funny is I don't even remember.
I think it was Sweet Greens you guys
maybe.
said? Maybe.
Yeah. Something off Fairfax.
It must have been a salad place.
Yeah.
And a photo that my sister took.
That's right. I remember that photo.
Yeah,
we're sitting next to it. Yeah, so that was a couple years ago.
It was 2017 maybe.
Yeah. I was going to preface all of this though with my favorite story about you, where you and I were on tour together in Japan in 2013 and we didn't know it.
What? Okay, yeah, we talked about this before.
Yes.
And you were with who? We Are the In Crowd or somebody?
Set It Off.
Set It Off.
Yep.
What were you doing for Set It Off?
I was tour managing them.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you, Alt Med, was on that same Beyond the Blue tour, wasn't it?
Yeah. So We Are the In Crowd, Set It Off.
Yeah.
Hit the Lights were on?
Yep. That was 2013.
Hit the Lights were? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
And I had no idea. We didn't know until Warped Tour 2015 or something like that. You and I were randomly at a Warped Tour years later.
Wait, did we meet on Ryan's bus or Neck Deep bus? I don't remember that.
Also, for the listener, OG, Where Are All My Friends guest, Ryan Scott Graham, hanging out here with us. So you might hear a chime in or a couple references because I'd say he's a good part of our friendship, a catalyst.
I feel like we met on Neck Deep bus, wasn't it?
I think so. I think it was, I want to say 2015, something like that.
No, it was probably 2017 because 2016 was State Champs bus.
Oh?
And I think and you knew about my t-shirt.
Yes.
So this must have been 20, because that t-shirt blew up in 2016 when he wore it on Warped Tour every single day.
Yes.
And then I started giving out to all these Warped Tour bands. You know, I gave it to real friends because we've toured in Japan. And then Knuckle Puck I met for the first time. And Joe, I love you.
Yeah.
You're my boy, but fuck you when you turned down that medium shirt. You said you only wear larges, and he
doesn't even know what he missed out on.
But we're good friends, so what the fuck?
But
anyways,
guarantee you
happened,
he's not watching this podcast.
No, but we're good friends, Joe. We talked the other day on Instagram, but
that was a special little moment there where you made a shirt that went crazy in the States.
I know.
For a listener, there was a shirt for Sho's band. We're going to have to kind of do a little prefacing here and explain who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
But Sho played in a pop punk band called Alt Med.
Yeah, Alternative Medicine.
Alternative Medicine, exactly. And as we were saying, in 2013, we were on tour together and didn't even know it till years later.
No.
And you kind of had this moment, though, where you made really, really, really cool band merch. And there was this wave where you had given a couple t-shirts to a couple of your friends' bands, like State Champs and Neck Deep, a couple other pop punk bands.
Right.
And it was probably 2017-ish where there was this one Alternative Medicine or Alt Med t-shirt that you would see on everyone, and people thought it was a streetwear brand.
Exactly.
And it's you. It's just your band.
I know. It's funny.
But that's a funny moment. We'll talk about that because I think that that's actually an important piece of a bigger picture of your story. Yeah, you and I went that far back, and it was probably around 2017 where we connected a lot of these pieces.
Right.
And it was probably the Neck Deep bus.
Yeah. And then you said like, oh no, the shirt.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah. So sick.
Yeah. And also to add a little bit of context, Ryan being here, I think state champs and you, and I just think that there's like this friendship that you've had, and it's a very organic, natural friendship.
Yeah.
Obviously you played music, but I've always loved that you live so fucking far away. You live on the other side of the world, yet you've had such great taste in pop punk, and you've made friends with some of my favorite people in that whole scene from an entire, like, across the world. You've done this.
Yeah.
And I think that that says so much about you in so little, just that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do this podcast because there's so much more to you than just playing in that band. You do play music.
Yeah, still.
However, there's so much more that you do. You're closely associated to a lot of very cool streetwear projects. You've figured out a pretty cool hustle.
Yeah, I guess.
Being a Japanese man that's very familiar with English and everything.
Yeah.
So all in, like, I don't exactly know where this podcast will go, but you're just a rad dude with a cool story. So let's talk about it.
Let's go.
So, and this is your first ever podcast?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Honored. Yes.
Same.
Welcome.
Right.
But the way that I started off normally is telling a listener who you are and what you do. Briefly.
Right. So, Sho Mitsui, like he introduced me. Like he said, I used to play in a pop punk band in Japan, touring with a lot of US, UK artists when they toured Japan.
Yeah.
And I did that for probably like 17 years.
What the fuck?
Yeah. 17 years of alternative medicine, because alternative medicine started in like 2001 when I was in high school. So, yeah.
What?
And then we stopped. And when we stopped, I was like, because I was in the same band for 17 years, if you think about it, I'm like, I don't know what to do now. Like first I was writing these acoustic songs, and I'm like, but I don't want to do like something like this. And then I started making beats, but it was kind of difficult to do on laptop first, because I always wrote on my acoustic guitar and just voice, what do you call them, like
voice memos.
Voice memos, on those voice memos. And it took me like a whole pandemic to go even on an iPhone and try GarageBand. Once I tried, I was like, okay, this is kind of easy.
Oh, wow.
Why did I wait for it? And I told that to Ryan. Ryan's like, yo, what? That looks like a computer game. What are you doing? Like, music should be more professional. Like, you should get like a serious microphone. I was like, true, but I'm too lazy.
Interesting. Well, what's funny is like, it's almost the opposite. A lot of people that I'll have on the podcast now didn't know what it was like to be in a band and to like learn like electric guitar and amps and tone and all that. Right. All they know is a computer and how to do that proper.
Lazy motherfuckers. Just joking. I love Dave Chappelle.
So it's like you were there first.
No, I'm not. But
2001.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Also, for a listener, if you're listening and not watching, Sho could convince you that he's 22 years old. So it's crazy to hear that you've been in a band since 2001.
Yeah.
So
I was a kid.
Damn. So that was like high school. You were doing that.
And then I just, started playing. Like, I wanted to make big in music. I wanted to be like a professional musician who's signed to a major label.
Yeah.
And if you want that in Japan, you have to sing in Japanese, and you have to say certain type of things, and you have to sound in a certain way, all that. But I was following it because I wanted that.
Yeah.
And I played with a lot of Japanese bands that became super huge, and then like looking them like blow up, I'm like, oh my god, well, I'll never like succeed in this genre, because there's like so many monsters, the monstrous bands that will like be so much better than us, and I'm like, fuck this, man. I want to do whatever I wanted to do. Like I pretended that I liked singing in Japanese, doing a J rock band,
Oh.
But I listened to like all these American rock bands, and
I was going to
you know,
ask, like, what were your
like
influences? What did you find? What made you want to start music?
the first, I guess, like because I lived in the States from when I was 7 to 11, and that was
Okay.
like
Oh, that's
what
huge.
1991, 2, 3, 4, right? So that was when grunge was huge. And I didn't
Yeah.
even know what grunge was, but people, well, not people, like my friends in classrooms were talking about like Pearl Jam and Nirvana, basically,
Yeah.
because they only watched MTV. The Pearl Jam sound, like,
Yeah.
Pearl Jam, cool.
And
Sounded
was
cool.
that popular in Japan, or was that like you come
No,
back
like
home after that?
I
And
don't know what the case was in Japan,
yeah,
but I was in 5th grade, I think.
yeah.
Friends were talking about MC Hammer and Pearl Jam and Nirvana. And in 1994, I was in 6th grade, and I remember this clearly because everybody brought their guitar, like the electric guitar, acoustic, and didn't matter. Everybody brought their guitar, and the language class was canceled. And then everybody took out their guitar and they go started singing like all apologies, and the teacher was crying. I was like, what is going on? Like, and turned out Kurt Cobain died the day before.
Oh.
So Kurt's death was influential enough to cancel a language class in a junior high school
Holy
in Chicago.
crap.
So I was like, whoa. I didn't know who this was. So I
Right.
asked my friend, what is this? And he was like,
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain died. Who's Kurt Cobain? He's like, oh, you're an asshole if you don't know it. So I went to his house that day. He showed, he put on MTV, and I saw like heart-shaped box, music video. Hey, wait. I was like, oh my God, this dude looks crazy.
But like that was big for you.
So I was like,
seeing
okay,
that.
like I wasn't sure if I liked Nirvana or not, but I knew like, okay, so Nirvana's a big deal.
Yeah.
So when I first went back to Japan, and everybody was like, yo, you listen to like cool Western music, like American music? I'm like, sure, yeah, Nirvana. It's like, what's Nirvana?
People didn't know.
Nirvana. Oh, Nirvana. I'm like, what the fuck?
But that had to have been massively formative for you to
Mhm.
spend those years in
Right,
the
right,
States. So then you come back home,
Mhm.
and like I'm so curious of that.
Mhm.
Is like, what's it like to be in Japan, to grow up? Like, are you hearing mostly Western music? Is there an
Yeah.
entirely just Japanese rock kind of thing, like what you were saying?
Like rock was, American rock, UK rock was so much cooler
Okay.
than, and Japanese culture is always imitating and ripping things off, but in a Japanese way that people are always so impressed and like being like, oh my God, Japanese fashion's so cool. All the American people say, but yo guys, this is from you, but we curated it so nicely that you couldn't tell that we ripped it off.
I was just gonna say that. I feel like Japan, it's funny that Japan draws influence from everywhere else, because as soon as it comes from Japan or touches Japan, it's just better and more
it seems
perfected,
like,
and,
but
yeah.
actually we're influenced from you guys. So all the Japanese rock that was there was influenced by like, those glam rock, you guys call like
Glam rock.
glam rock, like
Yeah.
Bon Jovi or Def
Yeah.
Leppard or Van Halen. That became J rock, but then grunge bands or like pop punk bands.
So you were just
influenced
kind of
us.
early on
Yeah.
that. Like you were early on grunge and pop punk. And
I mean, not, but I grew up right in the culture. So like, I love flannel. I'm not wearing flannel right now because business shit, Japanese shit, kind of expensive. You know what I mean? But I love those flannel shirts because I lived through that era, and then Eddie Vedder was wearing flannel. It was sick. Kurt Cobain was wearing the mohair knit cardigan. What the fuck? They're so expensive right now in the vintage industry, I guess.
Yeah.
Vintage culture, but
Yeah.
that was nothing,
Mm.
right? Cart wore it because it was cheap. Eddie wore it because it was cheap.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
So-
that paints the picture. Like that's young you. That's
Yeah.
the influences you're
Mhm.
seeing and all of that. And then you have a moment where you're like, all right, I'm not going to try to do this J-Rock thing.
No,
I'm gonna
yeah,
do
yeah.
like what I like.
So
and
that's-
that's the beginning of alt
Yeah,
med?
that was always like, I mean, we were alt med always. Alt med.
I see.
Yeah, alternative medicine always.
I keep saying alt med. It is
Yeah.
alternative
Oh,
medicine.
yeah, I mean, alt med was better on a t-shirt. You
yeah.
know? Verdi, who always designed our band merch, he was
Yeah.
like, alternative medicine is so hard to make it look cool because it's too long. He always complained about alternative medicine. So I was like, what if I did alt med? How does that look to you? And he was like, so much better. He was like, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
And I think that alt med tea that became so famous, that was actually a alt med carrots collab.
Was it?
Yeah, that was designed by Verdi.
Because it's a very similar font, isn't
Yeah,
it?
because, well, that font is a
Uh-huh.
carrot font,
Okay.
and the
yeah.
one after was a Verdi font.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
which both look very similar. That's probably because Verdi did the whole designing.
So that's an interesting part of your whole story is at a certain point in your life, you become very closely tied in with some really cool people in streetwear and fashion,
Right.
as well as music.
Mhm.
So where does that happen? Like at what point in your life do you
So,
start tying the
I
two
think
together?
A lot has to do with this dude, Ryan Scott Graham from Skate Champs, because they were on the verge of breaking when
Mm.
they came to Japan. So they weren't
Mm.
as big as they are now, but everybody knew that, State Champs was going to be big.
What year is this?
Like 2014, right? Yeah,
Okay.
2014,
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
time in Japan.
Yeah.
And 2013, hit the lights. I remember clearly. Oma from Hit the Lights was wearing a State Champs t-shirt, right?
Oh.
So I'm like, what are you a state champ of? I just asked, like, what are you a state champ of? And he's like, oh, no, this is my friend's band. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So first thing I knew about state champs was, oh, that band on Omar, like, okay. And when they came, final thing was like, the jam,
Yeah.
elevated and then critical and, the
Yeah.
jam. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. And everybody was saying, "Oh, next the state champ's gonna be big, big, big." I was like begging Mizuki,
Yeah.
the agent that books all the
Yeah.
smaller pop punk shows in Japan. They're like, I was begging Mizuki, like, "Yo, we gotta open for state champs. I know they're the next big thing. I like the Finest Thing album so bad." It's like, fuck you guys, man. Like,
Really?
I don't fuck with you. But then I kept on begging Mizuki. He has a record store in
Right.
Tokyo, so I went to the record store buying every time, like, Mizuki-san.
This guy's dedicated.
I bought another record. Like, you put me on that tour. Like, fuck you, get up in there,
Holy
go back
shit.
the next day. Like, Mizuki-san, another record.
You were out here doing the most to get that
Yeah,
going.
so because I wasn't on Mizuki's tour that much.
Mhm.
That was my first Mizuki tour.
Well,
Before
'cause
that, I was always on Masa tour.
I was just gonna
And
say
they were like, they're not gonna watch it. They're beefing, man. Like,
yeah, well, I was gonna say, even from like being a dude that was associated with music,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that scene,
Yeah.
and going to Japan, it was kind of like if you were an American band
Yeah.
and you wanted to go to Japan,
Yeah.
it wasn't like which side are you on,
Yeah.
but it was like who did you meet and who are you close
Exactly.
with? Because like Masa had Beyond the Blue and
Yeah,
there was like that lane,
Mhm.
and then Mizuki had it was
Ice
Ice Grills,
Grills, yeah.
and it was like this weird thing of like as an American, you didn't really know
Right.
fully what it meant. It was just like, oh, who are you talking? Who's bringing you out?
Yeah, exactly.
And you could feel that there was some amount of
Right.
a divide, and you could tell that they weren't exactly like, oh, let's collab.
Exactly. So you're like, are you on Hopeless or are you on Pure Noise?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hopeless means Beyond the Blue. Pure Noise means Ice Grills.
Funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
So yeah, we were always on Masa's tour. So it was
Right.
I knew that, Mizuki wouldn't want that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you're always on Masa-san's, like,
Yeah.
the Masa-san's is like more tend towards like mainstream, right?
Yes. More mainstream. pop.
Mizuki is like more into like, hardcore, like underground shit.
Yeah.
But I could tell like State Champs is like this poppy, like, pop punk that's should belong to the mainstream. So I was like, yo, these guys are nice girls, okay. and we played, and it was crazy because Paris was the smallest band
Wow.
at that time. Paris was on, and then A Lost for Words went on. Yeah, right. And then them, right?
Yeah.
Well, wait, was it Paris, you, and A Lost for Words? You guys headlined. Okay, yeah. So
yeah. But you played it.
yeah, so we put because fucking I spent like $100 at Mizuki's shop. What for? Bribing him.
You made it work.
And he's like, okay, the smallest show, like probably the Shibuya show or Shinjuku show. I don't remember, but so Paris opened, and we had mutual friends. This band called The Moms toured with Paris, and Alaska was in the States. So like we had mutual friend. So Lynn, was it from Paris? Yeah, Lynn was like she was watching from beside the stage, like, oh my gosh, so cool. And I'm like, yeah. And I think I told Derek, like, yo, check out my band. And I don't know if he did, but we finished.
Yeah.
We got off the stage, and this dude like runs in like, yo, Japan's so cool. And he's like he has like these 2 bags full of like toys, and it says mandarake, and like I was like, this dude is like, he has the balls to like, shop while we were playing on stage, and like, God damn, I hate this dude. And I didn't know who this dude was, but then
the
stage
disrespect.
yeah, and then State Champs started playing. There was oh man, the bassist of State Champs, he's a loser. He's like he was shopping while we were playing.
Yeah, that fucking loser.
Yeah, and I think I still had him signed on my vinyl because I have this thing.
Get them all.
I have this thing where every time I play with a band from overseas, I always have their vinyl and have them signed by everybody. So 2015, he came back as Speak Low.
Yes.
Yeah, with Real Friends.
Yeah.
And by this time, Mizuki asked us, like, hey, you want like coordinate like your local show for, because he could see that we drew people.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, cool. He's stoked to play open for American bands. Why not? Real Friends. And I'm like, okay, sure. Ryan comes with. I'm like, oh, that dude. And so I went to Mizuki's record store, right?
Yeah.
As always, to bribe him. And he's like, so I'm like,
it's like a shitty version of the Mafia.
Yeah, but what should I get? I don't really. And like, since you're opening for Speak Low, you should buy a Speak Low record, right? I'm like, I already have his autograph on State Champs record, and he was a douchebag, so I don't really want to listen to his.
You're gonna listen to just him now? Like, fuck this guy.
I have his record on State Champs. He's like, oh, we should take a listen. You're touring with him, and he plays and adjacent. I was like, holy shit, this song is so good. I need this.
Maybe he isn't such an asshole, is he?
He is an asshole, but his music is great. So I was like, yeah, I should get this. Is a sick record. Mizuki-san gonna buy it. I bought it. We met at a venue in my hometown, Kichijoji. And he comes in, he's like, yo, hi, nice to meet you, man. Right. I'm like, I know, because we played last year, but you don't know because you didn't see me play, motherfucker. But I didn't say that. But we played with you, like, last time. It's like, oh shit, okay, And I still asked him to sign my record because, and he killed it. We killed it. And Real Friends killed it. So he was looking for a place to crash in after the tour.
Yeah.
And I was living in an apartment.
Yeah.
The apartment had guest rooms.
Oh wow.
That only charged you $10 a night. And it looks like a gorgeous hotel room, deluxe suite.
Oh, cool. I was gonna say there's no way that you had an apartment in Japan and you personally had a guest room.
No.
There's no way.
No. So I think you guys stayed there for like a couple of days, and I showed them around, and we became really close friends because we went through all these adventures.
Yeah, this makes sense because Ryan would always go to Japan and stay in Japan and do tours and all of that. So for you though, had you already found kind of the other side outside of music, but like fashion, streetwear type thing?
So because we became such good friends in the music scene, he just texts DMs everybody saying, "Oh, if you're going to Japan, just meet Sho because he's the best tour guide." And everybody starts DMing me saying like,
It's true.
"Hey, this is Ryan's friend. He told me you're the best." Like Cody, you know, remember? Like everybody starts texting me saying I'm this guy's friend, and then Elliot started doing the same thing too, and
Funny.
so all these people like
so you like really became like the dude to
right,
know.
right. So that's how I became like started having connections and friends in the music industry, right?
Yeah.
And then the other side of me was like, I was always into fashion. I was buying stuff that people could tell. Oh, okay, you're like this brand and that brand. Oh my god, okay, you're into. And I hang out a lot with Verdi back in the day, like 2015, around then.
I pardon my ignorance, but does Verdi live in the States or Japan?
I think he has a business partner in the States for sure, but I think he lives in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes back and forth though.
Okay.
Yeah, he does have an office here too, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and so back then, people from America, you know, those small brands, you know, used to be small brands like Carrots, Rare Panther, Good Company, all those brands. They're now becoming much bigger. Were called small brands back then. And it was cool because nobody was wearing it, right?
Yeah.
The Goro, this dude that owns Minano and Tugo in Tokyo, he owns these clothing stores. So he used to do pop-ups, inviting brands from America.
Okay.
And they'll come and do pop-ups, right? And Verdi will go because he designs stuff, and I'll hang out because I want their clothes. And Verdi didn't speak English, so I kind of started translating. Right? And then when I translated, people go like, okay, this dude speaks English. Like, and this dude wears, you know, streetwear, like brands. And wait, do you know where Bismim is? And like, yeah, it's over there. And do you know where's Supreme in Japan? Oh, okay. Where can we eat sushi? Okay. I'm like, fuck, come with me. I'll take you. I'm like,
wow.
So,
you accidentally became the mayor of Japan.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll take you.
Yeah.
Let me just take you. You know, it's faster.
Yeah.
Google Map didn't speak Japanese and English at the same time. But
when I was there, I would have to load my Google Maps at 7-Elevens on Wi-Fi and then like look at train stops that I couldn't read and like show people and be like, yeah, it makes sense.
So I started doing that. Once I started doing that, everybody was like, oh, but I know this band from, you know, such and such that loves our brand. We should like, you know, all connect together. So like,
Wow.
And, you know, I all went to see State Champs and Neck Deep and, you know.
So you like, it was honestly like a very genuine thing of just, you liked this genre of music. You liked this style of clothing.
Right. Happened
you
to
would
speak
show
English.
up for things in Japan and you were the guy that spoke English and got it.
Right.
So you were like this perfect catalyst between the two. And it just kept going like that.
Right.
Because it's so funny. Like I know that because of Ryan. Like I know that like if you go to Japan, like hit up Sho because like he'll show you where to go and he'll help you and all of that. So like just genuinely you doing that with bands and then brands started to lead to more and more opportunities.
Exactly. And then, you know, I quit teaching and now I like do that as a job, you know, seriously.
Yeah, which is also something that I think is so interesting. And I know bits of your story and we had become friends through music and then again through Ryan. But I was curious of where your life is now and what that looked like and some of the pieces of your story, because I think that that's so cool. Like the message that I hear there is you just showed up and did the stuff you loved.
Right.
But you had a unique angle because you happened to speak English and know things better.
Right.
And you were a nice dude. You were a good hang.
Yeah, and everybody else was nice, you know, vice versa. Like everybody else was nice. That's why we hang. You know?
Yeah.
So, there's no bad people involved.
That's so cool. But that's led to so many cool friendships and opportunities now.
Right.
Because for a listener who doesn't know, outside of music, like even like more on like the clothing fashion side of anything, you'll translate for brands.
Right.
So if brands need help between deals in English and Japanese or any types of logistics like that, you're kind of the guy now, right?
Right.
And you've done that for a lot of cool brands. Like I know you're very close with like Carrots, Animal Carrots and all that. Like that's kind of cool. It's cool how that all works out.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
And it sounds like Verdi was a piece of that as well.
Yeah. And he blew up, so good for him. Like
Yeah.
he's the biggest graphic designer now in Japan. Like
That's
for sure.
so
Like
cool.
working with Louis Vuitton, it's next level.
Damn.
Yeah.
So another piece of all of this that I think is really cool is, along with you making organic friendships and just being a rad dude and helping people out and what that's led to, you've also taken on a couple cool business ventures or opportunities. Like, did it click to you when you were making alternative medicine t-shirts that you were making something that was kind of like, well, viral is not the right word because it was something physical and real, but it was like, did you understand that you were making things that were blowing up and that you could do more of that? Or because now you've done other cool stuff.
Right,
and we'll
right,
get to
right.
that in a second. But where did it start to click for you that you could continue to make stuff of your own like that?
Well, and I think it has like two elements to it. Like one is the font just looked cool, I guess. Thanks to Verdi and thanks to those 6 letters. Alt Med just looks cool. And Mike Sherman, who does market, who used to do Chinatown market, right?
Oh,
He's
okay,
like, he was like, so Sho, is your brand about weed? I'm like, what? It's like, I think LA people, when they see alt med, they'll automatically think of weed.
Yeah, like that's an alternative medicine.
I think people think it's a weed brand. That's why people love it. I was like,
I could honestly.
I did not know that. I was like, Mike, because Mike's is, I don't know if he's right now, but he used to be like a stoner. Like, if people like Mike says so, then people might actually like the word alt med in LA, especially.
Yeah.
Right? I liked it a lot. But yeah, I so one element looked cool, right? The word, the letters looked cool. And the other side is like a lot of famous friends. A lot of my famous friends wore it. So like it kind of had to be famous because Ryan wore it, Ben wore it, Anwar wore it. All this like fashion models, my May, who's like a influential YouTuber, she wore it for me.
I just love where that came from, though, because I think everyone wore it just because you're such a nice guy.
Yeah,
like,
because
cool
we're
like,
friends.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yo, can you? I'm like, can you wear this for me? Like, and can you take a photo real quick? Or can I take a photo real quick? It depends.
But like, there's no way in the world that you could come to me and be like, yo, dude, like, will you wear this or like rep this or help me with this? Like, in what world would I say no to you? You're such a nice guy. You've always taken care of everyone. So it's like, I love that goodwill got you so many opportunities.
And then, that got crazy enough to a point that, if you think about it, the finishing touch was Tyler, the creator, just holding the t-shirt. He didn't wear it, just holding the t-shirt like this.
I didn't even know that happened.
Me in front of me so that I could take a pic.
I didn't even know that.
I think that was the finishing touch. Then everybody was like hitting me up for, yo, is this your tee? Yeah. Like, I need this tee. Like, what? Why is Tyler holding this tee? I don't know why, but just give me the t-shirt, And then all the pop punk kids, of course, like, I need your tee. Like, I need your tee. And everybody told me, like, yo, you got to make it a brand. Like, come on. Like, make it a brand. But I was so mad at that time that nobody knew it was a band merch. And, fuck you. You don't even listen to my music, but you just want my t-shirt. But Anwar was like, fuck you. Like, he didn't say fuck your music, but it's like, Sho, it's different. Like, once they think it's a brand, just let them have it. Like, let it be a brand. Let the kids have it. Like, I was like, no. And I'm like, now, maybe time for another Ahmed, pieces.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Although I don't remember the name of the EP and I don't even remember the song title, but I remember somewhere in the mix of things, maybe it was from like Beyond the Blue Tour or something, but there was an alt med EP that fucking slapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
There's a song that's like, you
if
are
you say
my
so.
tears, you are my feet.
Oh, yeah.
What is that song? What was that?
Well, you're my fear, my dear.
Yeah.
You're my fear. You're dear, my dear, my fear. My fear, my dear.
Yeah.
So the music video was shot by Brandon Walter.
Who's that?
You know him?
I don't know that. Yeah.
He's won 2 VMAs. One for Fall Out Boys, Uma Thurman.
Oh, what?
One for Panic at the Disco's High Hopes, I guess.
How the fuck?
So Brandon shot our video for that. It should win MTV Japan Award. What the fuck, MTV Japan?
Yeah, that's
Where's
fucked
where
up.
where are your eyes, man?
Yeah, where are you? I hope of all people that aren't listening to this that I wish we're listening to, it's somebody there. Fuck you for not putting that on.
Yeah, but so yeah.
Damn. Okay, but so you kind of start to realize that. You
Mm.
start to realize, like, oh, wow, I've made a little impact here on this little culture. And then,
If you say so.
sure, I'll be the one.
Mm.
Yes, you did. But then you've continued to do other things since alternative medicine.
Right.
Because what I want to talk about right now is your toy brand.
Right, Plastic Labs. So that's what I do with my friend. So my friend works for a clothing brand, quite a huge one. But at one point he got so into Tamiya 4WD mini car racing. If you don't know, just Google it. Tamiya mini 4WD. You'll get the picture. But it works with motor and batteries. And as a kid in Japan, like I would just play with mini 4WDs all the time. Because you're a boy, you love car.
That's the rite of passage as a kid. You gotta play with little toy cars, especially if they have little motors and stuff.
Right. And we call it department stores, but it's mall.
Mm-hmm.
In malls where they have like a toy section, they used to have the racing circuit so that kids could come in and just race their cars to each other. So that happened on Saturdays and Sundays in the local malls, So it was a huge thing, and it kind of died out. But then it goes, comes back again and all that, right? And he just got into the meaningful WD so much that he wanted to make it into a business, and he contacts me saying, "Oh, I have this plan of making a sticker company exclusively for meaningful WDs in Tamiya." And he said he wants to make stickers of streetwear brands in the States, and I need
put on the cards.
So I need you to be the bridge, connect us, and also be a translator. So basically overseas marketing, finding collaborators. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's why our first collaborator was Anwar, because he's my best friend. And he wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
For this kind of project.
Right.
And yeah, we started out from there. We tried stickers, t-shirt, and the car. Yeah. And nobody cares about the stickers.
Yeah.
Some people cared about the t-shirt.
The shirt looks fucking dope.
Because it's carrots. But everybody wanted the car. Like, how can I get it?
Yeah.
Where can I get it?
Yeah.
How many of it exists?
Yeah.
And we all thought it was risky. Because like I told you, the car wasn't meant for sale.
Right. It was a personal meant to be sold. It wasn't made just to promote.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a promotional kit that had the stickers on, right? So it was showing you can make a cool car like this buying this sticker.
Yeah.
But since the model was so cool, everybody was like, no, I want that car. So we had a meeting saying we should do we're doing something right, but in the wrong way, because everybody are interested in us, but we're not giving them what they want. So I was like, why don't we just make cars instead of stickers that nobody wants? And no one gets the sticker because you guys can't get the Tamiya 4WD here. You guys just don't know where, and you can buy it on Amazon, but
I think in the States, the collectible is probably Hot Wheels here.
Yeah. And you have to build your own mini 4WDs. So how do I build this? All that. So I get it.
Yeah.
They want something that's already made and something that you can already touch and see, and it's already ready for you and looks cool.
Yeah.
And we asked the builder, so we have a builder that we manage, right? Because he's a part of the team, and he's we asked him how many if we wanted to mass produce, what's the maximum? He goes 3. I'm like, what? No, that's not mass producing.
Insane.
You don't get what mass producing is. He goes well, I need inspiration. 3 is max, and I don't want to repeat anything. He's an artist,
Yeah.
But I respect him because I don't know what day job he has. but he has a day job.
Yeah.
And this is his hobby.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we're paying him a lot of money to make these cars, right? And he can make a lot if he makes a lot.
Yeah.
But he's like 3.
And then he's going to be bored. He's going to want to do something else.
So I'm like, I respect that.
That's insane.
So we started making these cars and we offered the brands. We started to offer brands. Yeah, if you want this, you can buy it off of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started doing that.
That's a fucking exclusive piece right there.
Yeah.
But I just think that's cool. And I was realizing something kind of like in real time as we were talking.
Yeah.
And like, do you realize you've done this twice now?
What do you mean?
Where you've accidentally started something fucking sick. Like
yeah.
you made alternative medicine and you're like, here's all this music that I care so much about. And
yeah.
everyone's like, yeah, but let me get the shirt. And you're like, you're missing the point. That's not it. And then now you make this super cool sticker brand and everyone's like, yeah, that's cool. But let me get the car. And you're like,
exactly.
Okay.
So this time we were like, we shouldn't make a mistake anymore. Let's go for the car.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's just funny.
Mhm.
But I feel like there's just something about every project you've touched where there's a quality and something just so fucking cool about it. Like the same feeling I get when I saw alternative medicine merch or honestly listening to the music was like, I feel like as an American, I'm like, this is cool and I can't tell you why. Like it just feels like I feel cooler knowing that Sho from Japan is cool there and knows cool things and has brought that to me. And by me knowing it, it's cool.
Right.
So
Vice
I felt
versa.
that. Oh, that's sick.
I feel cool to know you and to be on this podcast.
That's cool.
See?
Damn. Well, anyway, my point to that was I feel it again now with Plastic Lab because it's Plastic Lab.
It's Plastic Lab. Yeah.
Why did I feel like there's a third word in it?
Well, Plastic Laboratory, but
Oh, okay. Plastic Laboratory. Yeah. I feel like even when I see the sticker sheets, it's so thought out and it's so fucking Japanese.
Right. It is so Japanese. It's so Japanese.
And then like the shirts that you did, even past the carrots shirt, like the other one, the white tee that I saw, like even that, I was like, this is so sick. I need one.
Right.
But then the cars and you're showing and like, so now there's been models of ones where you're doing something really cool where there's like a carrots car.
Right.
And it's like feels very much like the brand. And then there's like the cherry bomb go kart, like Tyler the Creator.
That's like when I've started this project, like the moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm involved in this car thing.
Yeah.
It's toy, but it's car.
Yes.
And one thing I know about cars is that Tyler, the fucking creator, he's crazy about cars. So I'm like thinking, yeah, I'll let you use all my connections.
Yeah.
But you guys have to make this car of Tyler's.
Yes.
Like you have to create it into a toy.
Yeah.
And you have to let me bring it to LA and show it to Tyler. You know? If you don't do that, I don't do this. Kind of. So I made a deal like, yeah, but the fourth car, because the first 3 cars were ours. The fourth car has to be Cherry Bomb.
Yeah.
And we made it. And I was stoked. It's still pandemic, but I knew I was going to bring it. And then Tyler releases an album and it's full of these car references. I was like, fuck, why did I make Cherry Bomb and like, oh my God, I need this pink car. So there's a founder, right? There's this guy, it's the CEO of the company. He pays all the money.
Yeah.
And we say like, we need this budget for this and that.
For this specific project.
We're not making many money yet.
Yeah.
But we're, just started out. So like, Ishii-san, his name is like Ishii-san. San is like a mister.
It's like respect.
It's a respect.
Right? Yeah.
Because he's older than me. It's in Japan, it's so, elder the better.
Yeah.
So like, Ishii-san, you have to make another car that doesn't make you any money, but it's Tyler's and it has to look this way and we got to make it. She's like, fucking, he's tired of us, spending all his money. Like, what good does it do? Like, remember the last Cherry Bomb, car? Internet went crazy. The internet went crazy. What about you make this car and I'm going to bring it to LA and somehow I will, in person, give it to Tyler.
Yeah.
I'll take the picture of Tyler holding our 2 cars.
Yeah.
That will make us very popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't I didn't know if it was gonna happen, but I told my boss anyway
Yeah.
to have the car made.
Yeah.
And now the car was made, I sent it immediately to Anwar. Anwar goes like, "Oh my god!" So the problem with Anwar is anything he gets, any image he gets, he just puts it online. So I'm like, Anwar, this is not yours. This is Tyler's. I just wanted you to see it because you're his friend. And he's like, "Yo, like I am gonna send this to Tyler right now because
Yeah.
this is sick."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You should just send me the car, and I will give it to Tyler. He will get it."
Yeah.
Like this kind of thing can be, worn out in a second. Like the hotter, when you just hit the nail when the nails are hot.
It has to be
the hotter the
right
better.
time.
Right. So I was like, "Oh my god, I have to go to LA now because she said so." And Tyler's leaving on tour next year, so
This
it
is
had
the
to be
time,
2021, and
yeah.
he still has random shows here and there because of his new album,
Yeah.
right? And I saw Complex Gone. I was like, "Oh shit, Complex Gone's happening. I have these 2 cars for Tyler." And there's this one girl, ceramic artist, that really wants to make it in the States, and they connected with Anwar, and they did a sake bottle, and that was made. And I was like, okay, let's make all this into a job. So professionally, I want to meet Tyler professionally as a collaborator and have a meeting through Anwar.
Yeah.
Let's do a pop-up of Adachi Mari, this ceramic artist from Gifu Tajimi that does minoware, very traditional Japanese porcelain ceramics.
Okay.
She did a sake bottle and some cups for Anwar.
Oh,
so I'm gonna sell it.
Wow.
And at Complex Con, I'll bring my car, a Plastic Love car, and show it to the brands, and have like a connection and like a possible collab meeting. So I did that. And I made it all into my job so that it pays out, right?
Yeah.
So that's when it clicked. It was all for Tyler and
Yeah.
Plastic Love first, but then I came up with like plans, like, okay, let's just do it all at once because flights expensive. What Airbnb has become more expensive.
Yeah.
It's more expensive just to come here. Yeah, I got to make the most of it.
But it's just brilliant. Like everything you're saying in that is so smart and so cool. And it like represents this attention to detail that you have. And, it's like you believe in something so much that you're going to make sure that you have the perfect product to present. You're going to come here and you're going to do it right. It's not just going to be some like half-assed favor. You're going to come to the States. You're going to put all this together. And that's like, it's something about you that I've noticed every time we've hung out, but I really respect it. And like, I don't know, I would imagine that that's a lot of you, but I also think that something in American culture is Americans are fucking lazy and they don't understand like the work and the attention to detail.
I'm lazy too, so.
I don't know though. You have a different attention to detail and follow through on all of this, but I don't know. I think it's really, really cool. And I think that, I am biased because I'm a huge car enthusiast as well.
Right.
So I'm very excited about what you're doing.
Definitely race service racing.
Yep.
We got to do a collab.
It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. They might be watching. That's of all the people that we've mentioned, maybe if they're close friends with you.
We need a collab, Ishii-san. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's cool.
It's so good to have something in common, Like
absolutely.
I happen to work in a toy car company, and you happen to be a car, a social networking company, right?
Yeah, a creative agency. All sorts of things. And I happen to have a podcast where we can sit down at any time we want and talk about what we're up to. So that worked out pretty well too.
This is amazing.
But dude, I don't know. It's just cool. And like, as for a listener, this is a story that's happening in real time.
I know.
The band and all of that, and you getting tied in with some of the streetwear pieces and our friendship with Ryan. Like, yeah, cool. That's history in the books. But talking about Plastic Labs, like that's now.
Exactly.
Like this story, you're here in Japan or in the States from Japan. Because you're doing this right now. And we just happened to catch up on a night you were free.
And now you were free.
Yes.
Being so generous.
Dude, oh my God, this is my favorite thing. And it's a lot of times in a podcast, I don't really know. Like, it's just like, well, let's see what happens. But I really love capturing moments in time of like, this is happening right now. Like
Mhm.
who knows where it goes from here,
I
right?
know, and this is like important. It's post pandemic, right?
Yeah.
It's like no one who knew that people could land in the States from Japan, you know?
Dude,
Like I didn't
yeah.
even know,
It's only
but
recently you've been able to travel.
exactly. But I did it because I thought it was gonna worth it.
Yeah.
And it's probably gonna worth it.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the podcast thanks to that dude and you and
the whole trip, this is the
so
piece.
far the first 4 days has been like great. I don't know what more to expect, but it has been great. Everybody's been helping me out and taking care of me. Ryan's been taking care of me, hanging out. You said yes to our podcast.
Of course.
So yeah, I really, really appreciate the States and
That's
the friendship
awesome.
we have going on. And this is the best. This is why I came.
It's amazing.
Very stoked.
It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Dude, thank you for doing this. Where can everybody find you? What should they pay attention to?
On Instagram, it's Sho_altmed. You can check that out. Project we were talking about is called plastic_lab_Tokyo, TYO, I think. Yeah.
I'll link it in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
description
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you can see all kinds of cool cars there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a brand and if you need a car, let us know.
Yeah.
Make a dope
Straight
one.
up.
Yeah.
And I'll link some of your band's music in there.
Yeah,
too,
thank you.
Because
Well,
people need to know.
It's
People
old, and you guys don't fuck with pop
no,
punk
they need a
anymore,
lesson
so-
in history, and they
What?
need to know.
Trap, yeah, I do see. Ryan has listened to my new trap music.
Oh yeah, what's up with that? Is that out? Can
And
the internet hear it?
it's on my iPhone, so I
Oh
have
great.
to,
Okay.
I still have to decide if I'm going to be a SoundCloud rapper or not.
Well, the next time Sho's on the podcast, we're gonna do a whole episode on his new trap career.
I guess
so.
little show or something, little Mitsui or something.
Yeah, so look out for that.
Yeah.
that's another exciting
Exactly.
one. Dude, thank you so much.
But
for doing
dude,
this.
Andrew, thank you so much. This was fun.
This was
You're
amazing.
professional.
This was amazing.
This is amazing.
So there you have it, Sho's story. I'm so stoked that I was able to have him on the podcast in person, and the timing worked out to do this while he was here in LA. If you liked this episode, you're here at the end and you want to do both Sho and myself a huge favor, share it with a friend, post it on social media. Anywhere you share it helps this podcast grow and get discovered so much. You can tag him. He's at Sho_altmed, ALTMED. You'll find the links to all the other projects he's working on from there. If you want to go above and beyond, there is a Where Are All My Friends Patreon where there's some bonus behind the scenes footage. I included a little blooper from the beginning of this episode there. There's all sorts of other extra bonus episodes and other things there. Any amount of support on the Patreon helps this so much. I do the entire podcast without ads, totally independent. So really any donation there is directly helping the podcast grow and stay afloat. As always, thank you for listening. I'll be back next week with another episode.